Welcome back to Hardball. Fair or not, Benghazi fever has resulted in a serious political headache for the administration. While claims on the far right that this controversy will cost Obama his job are a bit far-flung, there are some very real and potentially perilous side effects to this issue. The main GOP target has been and will continue to be Hillary Clinton. But even if she's vindicated as having done nothing wrong, has the political damage already been done? Let's bring in our strategist. Ed Rendell was governor of Pennsylvania and is now an MSNBC political analyst. John Feehery is a Republican strategist. Governor, I want to begin with you. A personal question about her because you know her so well. Is Secretary Clinton the type who looks at this emerging controversy and relishes the opportunity to confront it? Or does the possibility, the prospect exist that she says, you know, this is a reminder to me of the underbelly of politics. Who the hell needs it? I'm staying out in 2016.
Well, a little bit of both, but I don't think this controversy would be a factor in her decision whether to run or not. And I think she probably would relish getting another chance to answer the critics here. Remember, when she had that fall, the right said she faked the fall to avoid testifying in front of Congress. Right. Well, she came back and testified again in front of Congress, and as I recall, she handed most of those Republican male senators their hats. So I don't think she's worried about the controversy. She can take on controversy. She's been doing it all her career. But I will say, if I could, Michael, on this, people are forgetting, if this was such a concerted cover-up, why did the president, when he went and talked at the Rose Garden 2 days after this incident, use the word terrorist attack? Remember, that came out during one of the debates with Governor Romney. He used the word terrorist attack. The president didn't make any bones about the fact that it was a terrorist attack.
Well, and in the immediate aftermath of Boston, this same semantic issue, John Feehery, was raised. I had callers to my radio program saying, aha, he doesn't want to acknowledge that Boston is a case of terrorism. How do you see that issue?
Well, how I see this whole issue unfolding with Hillary Clinton and whether she runs, I think that we don't know how this is going to play out quite yet. I think that there's still some rope to be tied. And the other thing that's interesting to me is, does at some point the White House decide that they've got to throw Hillary Clinton under the bus and kind of protect itself? We don't know how this is all going to play out. I do know that as she left the Secretary of State's office, everyone was kind of giving her this great big send-off. This is kind of reminds people that there was some controversy at the end, and I think that's going to be one of those things that comes up during the campaign. And there are plenty of Democrats who want to be president and would be happy to throw Hillary Clinton under the bus and take over that job. So this is not an easy road for her.
Well, Karl Rove wasted no time. His group American Crossroads has a new web ad out today. It focused entirely on Secretary Clinton. Take a look at this.
A 22-year diplomatic veteran, intimidated for daring to blow the whistle, all under Hillary Clinton's watch. How could this happen? Why did she blame a video? And was she part of a cover-up?
Was it because of a protest, or was it because of guys out for a walk one night who decided they'd go kill some Americans? What difference at this point does it make?
The difference is a cover-up and 4 American lives that deserve the truth.
Governor Rendell, there are some controversies that are readily understood. Watergate, we all get that. We don't want our homes broken into. There are other controversies that I think are too confusing. Whitewater fell into that category, in my view. Where does Benghazi fall in that spectrum, if you buy into it?
Well, first of all, I think Karl Rove has lost his mind. We saw a little bit of him losing his mind on election night when he wanted to call for a recount in Ohio. And for him to put on an ad attacking a potential candidate who may never run 3 years from now, Karl, get a life, take up tennis or do something. That's number one. Number two, Hillary Clinton's stint as Secretary of State, she'll be like a pitcher who had 20 wins and 2 losses during her stint as Secretary of State. You know, if this is a blot on her record was almost perfect in the eyes of the American people, and this won't have any long-lasting effect. I guarantee you, 3 years from now, if Hillary Clinton is a candidate, less than 5% of the American people will remember this. Look, this is all about spin. It's not about cover-up, it's about spin. If there was a cover-up, let me repeat, the President of the United States, whose administration is supposedly orchestrating this cover-up, wouldn't have admitted that it was a terrorist attack. He wouldn't have used those
John,
words.
let me ask you, as a Republican strategist, I maintain that Benghazi heretofore, and I'm referring to the 2012 election, never resonated beyond the very conservative hardcore on the right. It became a buzzword associated with all evil things that they wanted to believe about this president. What is the prospect that Benghazi moving forward as a political issue has more resonance in the middle?
You know, Michael, I was with you, and I didn't think that this was going to be that big of a controversy. I kind of sloughed it off. And I've been pretty surprised by seeing really respected journalists like Jonathan Karl and Ron Fournier really go after this. They think there's something there, and they're going to continue to pursue it. Now, I understand what Governor Rendell is saying, that 20-2, but if your last game is a loss in the World Series and you get shelled, I mean, that's a problem. And I do think that for Hillary Clinton, she could get thrown under the bus by the Obama White House. We'll see how this plays out. I do think that this is a much easier thing, a much easier scandal for people to understand than Whitewater, because you had those 4 deaths, and there's a lot of explaining as to why the embassy did not get enough security to protect itself.
Well, I've been asking, Governor, I'll let you respond to this, because I've been asking aloud, to what end would there have been this cover-up? And Peggy Noonan in the Wall Street Journal today, I thought, put it together better than others up until now. Here's what she wrote. The inconvenient truth about Benghazi, the genesis of the scandal, it looks to me like this. The Obama White House sees every event as a political event. It could not tolerate the idea that the armed assault on the Benghazi consulate was a premeditated act of Islamist terrorism. That would carry a whole world of unhappy political implications and demand certain actions, and the American presidential election was only 8 weeks away. They wanted this problem to go away, or at least to bleed the meaning from it. Governor, why is that not a convincing way to analyze Benghazi?
No, I think that's right. I think the Obama White House wanted to spin this in the least damaging way possible. But I think you made a very good point when you said, look, let's look at what happened that led to the deaths of the American people. I think this spin post-incident, the American people aren't going to give 2 hoots about it. They're going to think it's the usual political parties pointing the finger at each other, playing the blame game. But I do think it's a legitimate inquiry to why the system broke down, why the warning signals that were sent weren't responded to. Hillary Clinton had nothing to do with that. She never saw the cables, and I think that's pretty well established. But we've got to put in place, we've got to find out what went wrong and how we fix it going forward. Now, they've taken some steps, but I'm not sure those are enough steps. That's the real problem. The 4 Americans who lost their lives didn't lose their lives because this was characterized one way or the other after it occurred. Let's get real about that.
Well, and John, we still don't have answers. We still don't have justice in terms of avenging those 4 American deaths. I think that's the biggest issue of all.
Sure.
Well, there's a lot of issues here. I think that, you know, focusing on those poor 4 folks who got killed in Benghazi is important. I think we need to get to the bottom of this. I'm, like I said, surprised by how this thing is kind of rose up again, and there's some very respected journalists that are digging into it. So I don't think this story's over yet.
Governor, thank you. John Feary, thank you as usual. Up next, we found something on which Democrats and Republicans actually agree. Justin Bieber. It seems most people don't like him regardless of party. And don't forget, I can now be heard daily exclusively on